Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives. Welcome to episode 15 of 6 with 6 Strings. Again, me just grabbing 6 random albums from the collection. Some stuff that I've been spinning lately. There's a ranking video in here that a band that I'm working on. I'll tell you a little bit about that. But I've been listening to music for close to collecting CDs. First off cassettes, then CDs. Some vinyl. Music related items for close to 40 years. So I think I have a good variety here to show you here today. There's some stuff from way back in the early 80s right up until almost current day here. So let's start off with, I can safely say this is one of my most favorite EPs of all time, and that is the Queensryche full length, but EP. This is my original cassette. And this is the ranking video that I'm working on, kind of trying to sort that out. So stay tuned for that if you're a Queensryche fan or would like to watch that. Anyways, this is the EP from 1983. I remember way back watching the Pepsi Power Hour here in Canada, seeing the video for Queen of the Reich, and I was just blown away. It was something like that I hadn't heard before. I mean, Jeff Tate's voice was awesome, but this whole EP is killer. Love to pick that up on vinyl one day if I can get a copy. But anyways, Queen of the Reich, Knight Rider, Blinded, The Lady Wore Black. And this won't be included in the ranking, but I think when I do the ranking, I will talk about a little bit where this could go. I won't give it a number, but we'll definitely, show you how good this is. It's very good. So if you haven't checked out some early Queensryche, I highly recommend this. Next up is the second solo album from this artist. You know him well, you know his name. Leader, a frontman of one of the biggest bands in the world, airline pilot, so you know who it is now. But I thought I'd show you this one today. This is Bruce Dickinson's second solo album, Balls to Picasso. I really love this album. I was asked to do a Bruce Dickinson solo album ranking, and I will get to it. He only has 6 solo albums. I think he's actually working on a 7th, or it's already recorded, ready to go. I'm not quite sure on that, but what a great album this is. This one was released on Mercury way back in 1994. So I guess technically this was his first solo album when he wasn't part of Iron Maiden. He left shortly after, Fear of the Dark, probably around 1993. And his first solo album was made while he was still in Iron Maiden. But check out tracks like Gods of War. Some of my favorites, Laughing in the Hiding Bush, great song. Love the song Shoot All the Clowns, great song. And my favorite song on here is track 10. What a way to wrap up an album. Tears of the Dragon. Definitely could, it's almost like it's an Iron Maiden song, but it's whatever, it easily could be. But anyways, check out, this is Bruce Dickinson's second solo album, Balls to Picasso. Very, very good album. Next up, I pulled a little bit of German thrash. And the reason I took this one out, about a week ago, there was a new video just popped up on my phone. I am subscribed to Metal Blade Records, so you get all the notifications. And sure enough, brand new song by German thrashers, Accuser. Just showing one debut song, a new song from their new album, coming self-titled actually, coming out November 13th, just called Accuser, coming out on Metal Blade Records, and the song was called Phantom Graves. Awesome, just great thrash. But today I'm going to show you their 11th overall studio album from 2018 called The Mastery. This is a great album, and I said the 11th overall album, and this is their second album on Metal Blade Records. They had one before this too from 2016. If you haven't checked out Accuser, or they've passed you by for some reason, go back and give this album a spin right here. You will not be sorry. It is just relentless. It just, the bottom end, the bass, the drums, everything about it, the guitar tone, just everything about this just crushes. Check out the Real World, Solace and Sorrow, awesome song. A couple of my favorites. Check out track 5 called My Skin. Go on YouTube that, or track 6, Catacombs, just awesome. I've already pre-ordered their new album. Like I said, it's coming out November 13th on via Metal Blade Records, 12th overall studio album. So this one, I need a little bit of help on their back catalog. I know some have seen reissues on No Remorse Records. I don't know if that's vinyl only, but you know, when I do get the new one, I only have 3 out of 12 of their albums. So what should I look out for with their first 9 albums? I know they have lots of great stuff. I've listened to a little bit of it, but let me know more about Accuser, because these guys are in the vein of, you know, I love bands like, what's that other band? Exhumer. Yep, sorry, lost my train of thought there. Exhumer, Accuser. Accuser too, if you will hear a little bit of, if you're a Sepultura fan, not so much the music, but the vocals, you hear a little bit of Max Cavalera in here. You know, short, sharp sentences, just awesome thrash. But anyways, check out some Accuser. Next up, here's a band, if you can look past their name. And you know what, their name is a little extreme for their music, but this is some new wave of British heavy metal. The band I'm talking about is called Satan. And like I said, you know, with a name like that, you pretty much kind of, in a way, you pigeonhole yourself. You're limited in ways, but this is great. This is just great music. I mean, these guys could be called anything. They're still putting out great albums. This is actually their very first album. This is a reissue, so I think this originally came out in 1983. I'm pretty sure that's it. They have 1, 2, 3, I think 5 albums. I don't have their second album, but I do have one called Life Sentence and Atom by Atom. I still have to get their newest album, which came out on Metal Blade, I think in 2018, called Cruel Magic, or it might have been 2019, I'm not quite sure. They signed a nice deal with Metal Blade Records, probably a 3 or 4 album deal. But this is a really, if you just love that new wave of British heavy metal way back in the day, and these guys are, I believe it's, to this day now, it's these exact 5 guys in the band. So that's pretty cool too. Check out tracks like Trial by Fire, Blades of Steel, love that song. Hunt You Down, Alone in the Dock, pretty cool. And it's got some bonus tracks on this too. So yeah, if you, like I said, if you can look past that name, Satan, it's, you know, it's not as evil as it sounds in the name anyways, but definitely check out some new wave of British heavy metal. All right, up next is an album that I actually just picked this up on CD for, you know, I think $8. I've had it on cassette for years and years. I'm a huge fan of this band's first album, and you probably won't convince me that that's not their best album. They, their first album is metal. I actually got to see the, whatever, it's Great White. Anyways, got to see Great White open for Judas Priest in 1984 on the Defenders of the Faith tour. Love that debut album, love their second album, Shot in the Dark. And then, you know, I followed these guys, you know, religiously till about 1992 on their 6th album, Psycho City. But anyways, this is the one I picked up. This is their 4th overall studio album from 1989 called Twice Shy. Good album, but you know what? When I threw this in my CD player, and I hadn't listened to the cassette for years, but this one to me is not as good as Once Bitten. It's a solid album, don't get me wrong, but I just think There's about 4 really good tracks on here, and the rest is just kind of so-so. I'm really like Once Bitten, you know, that much better, whatever. But after, you know, they had the album Hooked, and then they had Psycho City, they really dropped off the radar for me. But if you want, check out songs like Move It, and it's hard to read this track listing. This is literally the whole track listing all in one. House of Broken Love, that is just awesome. And of course we got the cover of Once Bitten, Twice Shy, which was a big hit for them. To me, it's kind of overplayed, and but I would say Move It, Heart the Hunter, is that what it's called? Yeah, great. But there's some stuff on here like Missed a Bone and stuff. It's okay. Babies on Fire, like I said, a little bit of filler, but a decent album, but just not as good as maybe as I thought. But anyways, always fun to check out a little bit of Great White. I don't have anything past, what do they have, about 13 studio albums. I only really, like I said, I only really followed them for their first 6, and then they dropped off the radar for me. So let me know, is there some Great White albums in the, you know, those other 7 that I don't own, or are they worth checking out? So, but anyways, and last today, little more thrash, little bit of thrash metal from England. And this one, you're going to know the producer's name right away. Famous producer of a pretty big band. But anyways, this guy's name is Flemming Rasmussen. Sorry. Anyways, don't want to butcher that name. But anyways, he produced the debut album for English thrashers, Evil, Enter the Grave. Released on Earache Records. What year did this come out? This came out in 2007. I think these guys have probably about 4, yeah, they have 4 studio albums, and they have not done anything since 2013. I've read some lineup changes. One of the brothers, the vocalist, has left the band now, and the other brother has taken over vocal duties. So hopefully we'll see a new album from Evil, but there'll be some changes. But anyways, this is a really good, you know, let's call them newer thrash. You know, only 4 studio albums, working on their 5th. But check out the song Enter the Grave, Thrashers, First Blood, which is, I believe that, judging by the lyrics, it's got to be about Rambo. It's for sure. You know, you remember the movie Rambo, or First Blood? Of course you remember that movie. Killer from the Deep, definitely a song about maybe a little shark attack. Schizophrenia, Armored Assault, really cool. And like I said, here's the producer, Flemming Rasmussen. You definitely can hear some, you know, of that Metallica, you know, kind of Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets nuances, not comparing them to Metallica, but you can definitely hear his touch with these guys. But I think this is the only album he did produce for Evil, but worth checking out for sure. You know, if you're into some of the newer thrash, definitely great to check out. But so that is it for this episode. Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. Definitely go look up that new song from Accuser. It's called Phantom Graves. Really good stuff. I cannot wait for that release also. And definitely check out this album, The Mastery. You won't be sorry if you like your thrash. And yeah, so thanks for stopping by. And until next time, stay heavy.